Russell Westbrook and the Houston Rockets may be on two separate trajectories. According to NBA trade rumors, the Houston Rockets and Russell Westbrook's relationship may soon end. Shams Charania of The Athletic and Stadium sent out a couple of tweets earlier this evening, addressing a situation that could change the landscape of potential Western Conference contenders this upcoming season. Yesterday, some NBA trade rumors addressed Russell Westbrook's future. Shams Charania's tweet seemed to confirm the reported interest in Westbrook from the LA Clippers and New York Knicks by reporting that the All-Star guard wants out of Houston. Following Houston's second-round exit in the playoffs, the prospect of Russell Westbrook wanting a change of scenery isn't surprising. The impact of the possible trade could have rippling effects on this year's upcoming playoff race. With all of the NBA trade rumors surrounding Westbrook, it's easy to wonder what James Harden's feelings on his situation might be. Shams Charania sent out a tweet saying that Harden is committed to the Rockets and is ready to start the season. This is good news for the Rockets front office as they attempt to retool for a new era under head coach Stephen Silas. Houston will look to get a decent return on any Westbrook trade, which could prove to be difficult given the former MVP's $41.6 million cap hit for next season. This would be Russell Westbrook's third team in 3 years if he actually ends up being dealt. The earlier NBA trade rumors linking him to the Clippers and Knicks provided two totally different trajectories for Westbrook. Ending up as the Clippers' new point guard would give him another chance to compete for a championship, while joining the Knicks could lock the All-Star into being on a lottery team for several years. In addition to this, 31-year-old Russell Westbrook still has a lot to prove to the NBA community. Throughout his 12-year career in the NBA, Russ has only been to the finals once and has failed to bring home a title despite being surrounded by some of the greatest players in the game. With the critics only increasing in number and Westbrook increasing in age, it seems the star guard is in a race against time to show he really is a player capable of winning at the highest level. But whether or not he'll be able to do it with Houston is still a question, as rumors indicate a major rebuild could be on the horizon for H-Town. The good news for Westbrook is, if he is made available in a trade, there are multiple different scenarios that could put him in a position to win, perhaps none more intriguing than a trade to the LA Clippers, a franchise that is seeking legitimacy in the NBA. Russ, Kawhi, and PG would form a powerful trio that would be favored in the West. Despite the perceived unlikelihood of it actually happening, and what the Clippers would have to give up to pull it off, it's a trade that works for all sides and one that could shake up the very foundation of the Western Conference. After yet another failed campaign, the Rockets seem close to collapse. Daryl Morey is gone, Mike D'Antoni has departed, and reports are circulating of unrest by the franchise's two stars. A rebuild can be out of the question at this point, even if it means trading one or both of their backcourt stars. In exchange for Russ, the Rockets could welcome Montrezl Harrell by a sign-and-trade, Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, and Rodney McGruder. While those names might not pop, it offers the Rockets major depth in a lineup that would obviously feature Harden. His scoring talents around Williams, Harrell, Gordon, and Covington would be insane. Beverley also gives the Rockets a defensive edge, something that can never be ignored. In the end, the deal probably wouldn't see Houston dominate the NBA, but it would keep them afloat until another opportunity arrives. The Clippers are the winners of this hypothetical trade. Their depth was a major boost in 2019-20, but giving that up to add Westbrook might be worth it. The guy is like a freight train driving to the rim. His relentless attack and incredible finishing ability had him putting out about 27 points per game last season. His drives also help make things easier for his teammates, and Russ is often the first to dish out opportunities to others, as evidenced by his 7 assists per game. Of course, there are concerns about his game, which includes shooting struggles and carelessness with the basketball that can result in critical turnovers late in games. But with teammates as good as Kawhi and Paul George, the talent alone should be enough to offset those flaws. The question for them is how they would fill out their second unit with the departures of Harrell, Williams, and Beverley. However, ESPN's Stephen Smith spoke on his belief that this potential trade absolutely wouldn't work. With franchises from around the league have sped up the pursuit of their desired prospects this offseason, causing NBA trade rumors on a number of players to go absolutely haywire. Russell Westbrook rumors only increasing on the issue. ESPN's Stephen Smith and Max Kellerman recently spoke on what they thought of the potential move. Stephen Smith had this to say when asked about Russell Westbrook possibly moving to the LA Clippers. He is incredibly stubborn, and if you are Kawhi Leonard and you desperately need a quintessential point guard, that's not what Russell Westbrook is. Despite this statement, it must be mentioned that Smith was quick to point out his admiration for Russell Westbrook before and after his comment. But he also emphasized that he believed that the LA Clippers need a different kind of point guard than Russell Westbrook. The second analyst on the show, Max Kellerman, was quick to disagree with Stephen Smith, stating that Westbrook indeed has the ability to distribute the ball well, citing that Paul George's best season came alongside Russell Westbrook with the OKC Thunder. Kellerman was also ecstatic about the fact that there was indeed an opportunity to see Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on the same team in the LA Clippers, and implied it could become one of the most, if not the most exciting teams in the entire NBA. Anyone who has followed the situation of the 31-year-old and the Clippers will instantly admit that both sides indeed have a very good point and that this move will be a huge gamble for both parties involved. But with both the LA Clippers and Russell Westbrook perhaps the hungriest of all to win an NBA championship in the near future, this NBA trade rumor may be a gamble worth taking for both ahead of the 2020-21 NBA season. Meanwhile, on rumors about Miami Heat could land Devin Booker. 24-year-old Booker is one of basketball's best young stars. In just 5 seasons, the former Kentucky Phenom has averaged 22 points, 4.7 assists, and 3.6 rebounds per game on 44.8% shooting. Unfortunately, the Suns have been a notoriously bad team for the past decade or so, and poor front office decisions have really dampened their appeal. These struggles have been the source of rumors that indicate Booker may be tired of all the losing. With the 2020 off-season underway, Booker has become a topic of conversation, and the Heat seem among those best suited to acquire him. With a mountain of assets, plenty of motive, and a commitment from Booker likely inevitable, there'd be nothing stopping the Heat from going all in on a deal. The question is, can they convince Phoenix to pull the trigger? For the right offer maybe they just might. In exchange for Booker, the Suns could get several young promising shooters in Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Herro. The two are widely considered among the best young players in the game and were key in Miami's playoff run in 2019-20. As a stretch 4, Kelly Olynyk gives them depth and shooting in the frontcourt, likely making a great pair with DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, the Heat move a step closer towards their goal by acquiring Booker, a sharpshooter and talented scorer who has still not yet reached his prime. The trio of Book, Butler, and Bam should make a balanced, well-rounded team that is capable of dominating the East. While we don't know what will happen with Booker and the Suns, these next few weeks will be about as unpredictable as they come. Nothing can be ruled out as teams prepare to position themselves for a long and successful run for the upcoming season. Lastly, the Knicks may be dropping out of the Chris Paul sweepstakes as the NBA trade moratorium nears its end. NBA trade rumors have followed Chris Paul ever since he was dealt from the Houston Rockets to the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. The New York Knicks have been thought of as one of his primary suitors, but it's starting to look like that may not be the case. Ian Begley, of SNY-TV, has been scooping many NBA trade rumors, but this one seems to detail the Knicks' mindset for this offseason. New York would love to have the leadership of Chris Paul, but is worried that the price to acquire him will be too high, and they will lose too many of their assets to join the market for other available big names. The New York Knicks currently have 7 first-round picks over the next 4 years. Even though this is one of the more realistic NBA trade rumors, it still does not entirely erase the opportunity for Chris Paul to go to the Big Apple. Although OKC is all in on its rebuild, they won't be giving up any of their top picks to the Knicks to get a deal done. It is also unknown how much New York values their young pieces, such as R.J. Barrett, or if they would be willing to deal them not only for Chris Paul, but any other star that becomes available down the stretch. Whichever way the New York Knicks decide to go in NBA free agency 2020 could influence Chris Paul's desire to play for the franchise. If the franchise can make another trade or sign a key free agent, the veteran guard could decide now is the time to come play for New York. NBA trade rumors do not only link the Knicks to CP3, as it has also been reported that the Oklahoma City Thunder are in trade discussions with the Phoenix Suns. Many sources around the league believe there is still a high chance of him landing with the LA Lakers. And that will conclude the video. Let me know all your thoughts on this down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. With that being said, I am out.